Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. This week, it's just the two of us, Zach and I.
We can make it if we try.
Oh, and we're gonna try. Last week we told you we're doing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and we are doing that. And I want to apologize because I called it a Chinese film and it is a Taiwanese film. So, depending
Uh-oh.
on which country you subscribe to, one is not the other. Uh,
Were
so.
we accidentally edgy that time?
Yeah, that was when I was like, "Oh, it's a Chinese film," or I called it a kung fu movie, and everyone lost their shit. Yeah, no, I was looking, and it was nominated for an Oscar for Taiwan, so I apologize about that.
I don't think you have to. I don't know if our podcast is broadcasted over those airwaves.
To Taiwan or to China? Because I want
To
to
China.
apologize. Because I want to
I
apologize to
don't think
Taiwan. I believe they're an
I don't know
independent
if the
nation.
Taiwanese would be upset if you called it Chinese.
I
But I
think they
feel
would.
like the Chinese would be very upset if you called it Taiwanese.
No, it's the other way. China thinks Taiwan is part of them, but Taiwan thinks they're an
Right.
independent nation.
Well, Taiwan for sure is an independent nation.
This week we did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, a 2000s Taiwanese. It's a specific type of movie that this is like made after. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher the shit out of it. It's Wuxia.
Wuxia.
I was gonna say Wuxia film. It's like a traditional like type of like Chinese film. And Ang Lee always wanted to make one of those films, and so that's what this movie is. This week for our cocktail, we're doing the Crouching Tiger from socialandcocktail.co.uk. I wish they would just do .com. I don't know why it's got to be .co.uk, but
It's from the UK, man.
yeah, but you can't just have a .com if you're from the UK.
Anybody can have a .com, but
Exactly.
only people in the UK can have a .uk.
Exactly.
It's like exclusive.
Why they got to be different?
You know, people in the UK, man, just claiming things for their own. What can I say?
The Crouching Tiger is like it's a shooter or shot. This is in milliliters, so it's 12.5 milliliters of lychee liqueur and 12.5 milliliters of tequila. It's equal parts, so you could probably just do the math to your liking. This says you want to shake it to chill it first, and then pour it in your shooter. You know, it's a shooter. I don't know why people try to make them like fancy. I mean, granted, okay, well, this is a cocktails podcast, but like, if you're just gonna be throwing shit back, does it really matter what it tastes like?
I mean, there's a break even point, right? It's only got to be so good, and I think that threshold's pretty low.
Well,
But
and then like after
you're
a
not gonna
few, it
throw
doesn't.
back Everclear, you know.
After a few, it doesn't matter though, because like you're not gonna be tasting it once you're like feeling it a little bit.
True.
So
True.
it just has to taste good enough to get you to like 3, and then you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, maybe you just will yourself there. You know, you just throw 3 back real quick.
That's
Coast.
me. Anytime people want to do like shots of Jack Daniels or like whiskey, that's me. I'm like, it'll feel
See?
better in a second.
See, it does matter what it tastes like.
Check out the Drizzly and Casker links below. Make yourself a Crouching Tiger. Take a couple of shooters if you're feeling a little frisky. Check out the Drizzly and Casker links below to get some lychee liqueur. Hopefully there's a link there for that, but there'll definitely be a link for some silver tequila. You can check out Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on HBO Max as of recording, and we're going to spoil it. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a long title to a movie. I feel like I've been saying it a shit ton.
And there's no like common acronym, you know? It's not like, hey, you seen CTHD? Yeah, I've seen CTHD.
Sounds like a drug.
I was on CTHD when I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, it's like, what was it when we did Doctor Strangelove? I like had to say, I said the full title like once or twice. I was just like, all right, I'm getting tired of this. It's a 2000s action adventure drama film from Taiwan. It's in Mandarin, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So you do have to watch it with some subtitles. Uh, Directed by Ang Lee. I'm gonna butcher. This is all. They're all like Chinese names. Please forgive me. Some leniency, people listening. Written by Hu Ling Wang, James Shamos, and Ku Jung Sai.
Nailed it. There is an English dub, by the way. I couldn't find it, but saw some clips on YouTube of some pretty bad English dubbing.
Okay, yeah, I went for the subtitles because typically if it's I avoid dubs on especially live action stuff. If it's like an animation, I feel like it's okay because they can typically like come up with something that's gonna get close to like what the words like the mouth is moving because it's it's just opening and closing because it's a animation. But like the English dubbing over live action is really rough because the like your mouth moves different ways when you're saying different words.
Yeah, and the facial expressions, it's just weird to watch.
Yeah, and especially like I guess the thing that bothers me is like I know they're not saying that thing.
Right.
It stars Chow Yun Fat. Uh, I got this one. Michelle Yeoh.
Nailed it.
Got that one. Ziyi Yang or Zhang.
I think it's Jang. I think it's a Jang.
Fuck. God damn it. Zach, you just want to take this part?
I don't have
Chang
Chang Chen.
Chen. I can do that one.
Seung Lung. I think this one is Pie Chang.
There's Lee I
And
see. Kai Lee.
I'm definitely butchering a good amount of these too.
Hey, it's a language we don't speak, so I'm sorry.
Damn.
We need like the little like pronunciation guide next to it.
Yeah, there's it's actually pretty good. You can copy paste these and Google them, which maybe I should have done beforehand. But there are people that'll just upload. Like you can find a name, put it
Mm.
on YouTube, and there's some dude who just
Is it the
pronounces
French
it
guy?
5 times for you.
That's the one I always
I
find.
don't know. Usually sounds like the native language.
Oh, I always find the French guy who's like, today we are going to pronounce Michel Yo. Michel Yo is pronounced Michel Yo. It's like, okay, thanks.
I wish there was one website where they would just consolidate all of this, but when I'm going into like a one-on-one meeting or something and it's somebody's name who I'm having a hard time pronouncing, I will just Google it and then like sit there. Here, I'll
It
send you this
is
Google search result. There's even like a slow toggle.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon currently sits at a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. It won 4 Oscars, won Best Cinematography, Best Music, Best Art Direction, Set Direction, Best Foreign Language Film for Taiwan. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, and Best Music Original Song. It's the story of a young Chinese warrior who steals a sword from a famed swordsman and then escapes into a world of romantic adventure with a mysterious man in the frontier of the nation. I read that description and then was very confused for most of the film when there was not a young Chinese warrior on a romantic adventure with a mysterious man until about 2 hours or an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, there's that description, and then the one, I don't know if I read it further down or on a different site, but it said something about, it almost sounded like a mystery. Like there's this warrior who retires, and then a sword is stolen, and Michelle Yeoh is on the hunt to find who stole the sword. So I feel like that is a perfect description for like the first half of the movie, and then the one on IMDb that you read is a perfect description for the second half of the movie.
Yeah, Letterboxd says 2 warriors in pursuit of a stolen sword and a notorious fugitive are led to an physically skilled teenage nobleman's daughter who is at a crossroads in her life. I don't know if you could like accurately describe this movie in one of those like short log lines. Like you said, I do think it is like a mix of one and the other because it's like, I mean, neither of us had seen this film, right?
Right.
Uh, So going in, I had no idea what to even expect, and it being in a different language, I felt kind of lost at the beginning because like I read these descriptions, I was like, all right, cool, and then it's just like, hey, oh, you're going into town, you want to take this sword because like I'm kind of done using it, and I was up in the mountains meditating, but it wasn't going well. I'm like, all right, so she takes the sword. All right. The guy's like, oh, I can't really accept the sword, but I'll take it, I guess. Okay. Where are we going right now?
Yeah, and then the really confusing part is he shows up at like the village where she goes to,
Yeah.
and is like, "Oh, hey, how'd that delivering the sword to this spot go?" And she's like, "Oh, somebody stole it." Like, why couldn't he? If he was already going there, why did she have to take the sword?
I also feel like they tried to play it off like we weren't supposed to know that. Uh, at least the subtitles say Jin uh, was the mystery like young like martial artist.
The
I
thief,
like yeah like I feel like they
sword
were trying to
dealer.
play it off like it wasn't her, but at the same time like I feel like everyone knew it was her.
Yeah, definitely from the get go. Like, oh, you can see, 50% of her face. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, as soon as she was like, "Oh yeah, I've used swords before. The security guards at our place have taught me." I'm like, "Okay, you're
Yeah.
gonna be fucking stealing this shit or something.
Yep.
You're the mysterious young woman." Or
I like the calligraphy where Michelle Yeoh's character is like, oh, you've been practicing calligraphy. That translates really well to sword fighting.
huh? That's just like fencing somehow.
Nice.
Oh, I've never noticed. My name makes looks like a sword. What? How would you never notice that? I was also I don't know if it's like a style thing. The wire work was amazing, but it's definitely very like weird to watch. Uh
It's cheesy at times.
yeah, like oh wow. Phew. There's a couple of rough green screen moments like when it's like towards the final fights where they're like going all over the world.
Yeah.
Like when they land down in that like the little pond area and then in the trees a couple times.
Yeah, I thought the trees, for the most part, looked good, except for a few weird CGI things. But hey, 2000 CGI, what do you want?
True. Um yeah, the wire work was really good, but yeah, it is a little and maybe I'm just not understanding like can they fly pretty much? Is that something you learn? Cuz he says something about like, "Oh, are you done flying?" at some point. Like somebody uses that exact wording in the subtitles and I was like, "Huh. Interesting."
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I didn't know what was goofy or what was like a learned skill. I didn't know if these people were magical or if they were like really well studied. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're definitely well studied because that was like the whole part about like, oh, like you should go to Wudang, which I assume is like a is it a city or something or like a temple area where it's like you're literally just trained in this technique. Um,
Yeah.
so I assume like, oh, at a certain point you learn all these skills of maybe it's the fighting or the style. Uh, because she does a couple moves and he's like, "Where'd you learn that?" Also, where when what's her name, Jade Fox is like saying something, the lady's like, "You don't understand anything. You can't even read. You fucking illiterate piece of shit."
that was, you wouldn't understand even if you could read. Ooh.
Damn. Yeah, like the choreography for the fighting was nuts though.
Yeah, the fights were really
I
good.
love a good like fight choreography like that. It reminds me of like the Jackie Chan films and stuff, especially the
Yeah.
like the fist fighting and stuff that they were doing, where like the one person was trying to fly away, Jen was trying to fly away on the wires, and Michelle Yeoh's character like kept like hitting her foot and bringing her back down, like stepping on it.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is some really well choreographed fighting.
There were a couple really cool scenes where the camera was only focused on the footwork. That was really cool to see.
Yes. What did you think on your first viewing?
I liked it a lot. I mean, there were a few things that got me, and I'm sure it was just I don't speak Mandarin and I'm not familiar enough with the culture type of things. But I didn't. I was constantly questioning, like, is this like not smooth wire work? Like when they would sort of run off the walls and fall back down to the ground. Are they like well trained? Are they magical? I didn't quite know. Um, but like the fight scenes aside were really good, and I thought the story was really good as well. They give you sort of like two romance stories in this movie with a really good amount of action, and it doesn't seem crammed down your throat. I don't know why, but I kept thinking of like Star Wars, like Attack of the Clones. I'm like, it's like the Anakin Padme relationship is like jammed down your throat.
I hate sand.
This
It's
movie is
coarse and it
like
gets.
it's like Attack of the Clones if Attack of the Clones was done really well, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting looking back and thinking of like the parallels in their relationship, sort of, because like Jin and what is Michelle Yeoh's character's name? You. Like they're at one point they're like, oh, we're like sisters. Oh my goodness. And so like looking back, you see kind of like the parallels between like her relationship with Li Mubai and Jin and Lo, because it's like, oh, like they can't really be together, either of them. Um, Even though like Lo's, because he's sort of like a street urchin. I'd say he's kind of like Aladdin. Um,
Yeah, trying to think of
what did they call
not
him?
like Conqueror.
The dark cloud.
Oh, there were some goofy names in this, but they
Oh,
were like
but they were like they
comedically
were
goofy,
making
you
fun
know?
of that though,
Right.
because she's like, oh, why are all these names so long? They all got pissed. But like, yeah, it's like this like love that they can't necessarily have because like you and Li Mubai, they're like, oh well, we're not going to be together because of I think it was Ming, her Yu's original like fiance ended up dying, and so they kind of like made this like unspoken pact that they wouldn't like see each other really, even though they've always loved one another. And then like Jin and Lo was like, oh, we met and like our relationship butted off of like you stealing my jade comb, but we can't really be together. And then she like gets engaged because of her parents forcing this marriage on her, and and then she just throws herself off a bridge at the end.
Yeah, that I had to like go back and watch that because I thought I maybe missed something,
I did too.
but she just jumps off and like sort of flies away, like flying squirrel dives away from everybody.
Yeah, because I get like I assume she survives.
Yeah, she didn't kill herself there, right? She's just magic again.
Well, she's
She
not.
just flies.
Well, Lo says at the one point where it's like, oh, like the person jumped off the mountain to make their wish, but they didn't die. They just flew very, very far away because they knew their wish had been granted. So I'm wondering if it's like that in a sense where it was like she was flying far away because her wish had been granted because she believed hard enough or whatever. If that makes sense.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around all of it. I feel like I gotta just lean in one way or the other, you know? These people are magic, or it's just like maybe it's a mythological thing, you know? You achieve that level of study in the arts, and you can spin really fast and jump up 3 stories.
Oh, the shit running on the wall was pretty sick though. It's kind of
Yeah.
like the things where like you're coming back onto the roof that look a little funky to me because it's like you're
Yeah.
running and it's fine because you take off, but then when you're coming back, you're like moving your feet to like catch and keep running, like to keep
Right.
running. So that's where it kind of like looks a little. Also, it's like obviously there's pretty much no gravity to it. That that also looks a little weird to me, but
Yeah, at a certain point, it just looks like they're zooming across the air. Their feet are kind of running to keep up, but it almost looks like they're in a pool, you know? You're just kind of muscling along in the pool, just wading water,
Yeah.
treading water, wading in the water.
Treading?
Whatever you do in water.
Tread.
I can hit you with a fun fact.
Oh, hit me with the fun fact. I love them.
Jet Li was supposed to be in this movie.
Interesting.
He was supposed to play Li Mu Bai.
Interesting.
Yep, turned it down for another role. Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die. I don't think I've ever heard. Oh, I see it now.
DMX is in it.
Great. I was about to say, it's what's Jet Li been doing? Because I don't think I've seen him in anything in a while.
I don't know.
He was in the Expendables, 1, 2, 3.
He was in Mulan,
Oh,
like the
okay.
2020 remake.
All right. I never saw that. Looks kind of.
Same.
It has 5.7 on IMDb. Looks a little rough.
All of the Disney live action remakes got terrible reviews.
Imagine.
And I haven't seen most of the originals, so I just figured I wouldn't like it.
I was gonna say, imagine when they just make shit for money that it turns out not great. Wow, I feel like my dad has probably seen most of these Jet Li movies. My dad loves to watch Chinese dubbed movies. At least he did when I was a kid. I don't know if he has in a long time, but like that was his thing when I was growing up, and it just kind of annoyed the shit out of me because I was like, why would you just not watch it with subtitles? Like, why do you need the dub?
That's interesting.
Yeah, we just watched like kung fu movies with the dub on.
Michelle Yeoh tore her ACL filming this movie.
Like doing a stunt, or because didn't they did most
Yeah,
of their
during a
own
stunt.
stunts, right?
Yeah. Partial ACL tear. They flew her back to the United States, or flew her to the United States, did some surgery, and then she sort of flew back and forth in between treatments.
Wow, she learned Mandarin for the role.
That's pretty crazy. It's not an easy language to learn.
No, because like I was talking to someone the other day because he's Chinese and like can speak Chinese, uh, and I was talking about Japanese, and he was like, "Oh, well, Chinese is kind of annoying because there's like I forget what the word was. I think it was like go or something, but it has like 5 different meanings. Just depends on like it's the same pronunciation, but it's like just how you like enunciate it that changes the meaning." And I was like, "Oh god, that sounds rough."
Yeah, that's something that maybe I could get right if I sat down and practiced, but if I try to get up to conversational speed, it's just not happening.
I mean, and it's just like I feel like you could probably learn the language, like the like written language, somewhat easily. Because like I mean, been trying to learn Japanese. It's fairly easy to an extent. Like obviously one of the languages, I think it's the Kanta. There's like 5,000 characters and it's still growing. Obviously, I'll never learn that much, but like the basic uh, two written languages, like you can figure those out pretty easily. I heard Korean you can figure out in 15 minutes.
Whoa.
So like the characters, I feel like aren't the bad part. It's the speaking and understanding the language because it can change, like depending on like where you are and the situation you're in so much. One thing that we didn't talk about, the score, which I think won the Oscar. Um, I said earlier, but the score was so good. Uh,
Yeah, it's really good.
so like I don't know, it just fits so well with the movie. And it's kind of like it's like semi traditional, like Chinese sounding. Um, so it's kind of actually like refreshing to like hear that uh,
Yeah,
rather than like just like a kind of basic like cinematic score.
right. It was nice that, they didn't hit us with like an 80s fighting synth out of nowhere.
I don't know. It could have been
The
pretty cool though.
if they just kicked on the electric keyboard in the dojo fight. That
Like
dojo
some
fight was
electric
really cool
drums.
though. The just bring in a full '80s band, whole like '80s Swedish synth band. That's what I need.
ABBA? You want
That'll come
ABBA?
in the sequel.
There was a sequel, I believe.
Friggin' ABBA.
Yeah, no, the
Oh
dojo
no,
scene where like Michelle Yeoh's character is just bringing out like every weapon.
every single weapon. Yeah,
That
yeah, that was really cool.
dude, it was some of those fight like the fight scenes were just insane though because like when she's pulling out every different weapon, like the way that it's like handled and shit, I was just like, how do you learn all of this?
Exactly.
Like the spear that's kind of like it's not super sturdy. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know
Yeah,
like what
yeah.
the weapon is
It was
called,
weirdly flimsy.
but that's like part of the like the danger of it is that you can like move it so like quickly because it has that like bend to it. You can whip it around and stuff.
Okay.
Um, I don't know what that like what that weapon is called, but also
I mean, I even thought the humor was good. She like brings out this warhammer looking thing,
I can't
and then
pick it
sort of
up.
stops, and it falls back behind her. Yeah.
Um, what are those things called with like the U bend in the blade?
You're talking about what the guy got stuck in his head in the courtyard.
No, not that one. But I mean, oh, it's a Chinese short spear or a long spear. Huh, interesting. There's a bunch of different types too. Um, no, the like fucking what she has at one point.
I'm trying to picture it.
Hold on, I'll find it for you. Whoa, I'm like deep on some website. Uh, no, so he had. Oh no, they're deer horn knives. Sorry.
Deerhorn
Yeah,
knives.
that's the one that he took to the head.
Oh wow, this website is something.
I'm on like imperialcombatarts.com right now
Hell yeah, they have to know. Apply for study. Whoa, should we apply?
to go to Imperial Chinese fighting.
Imperial Combat Arts is an adults only school. Applicants must be at
Sounds
least
sexy.
18 years of age. Yeah, it kind of does, right? I wonder if it's clothing optional. No payment or vital information is requested, and all
Wait,
applicants
what?
are 100% confidential.
Okay, come on. This sounds like just some fucking dude in his basement right now.
You need name, phone number, age, email. What is your profession? Address, city, state, zip. Have you ever been convicted of a felony, assault, domestic violence, or DUI? Yes, does not eliminate consideration.
Oh my god.
If yes, please explain.
I tried to use my deer horn knives to break out of prison
List
once.
list any previous martial arts experience, rank achieved, and reason for leaving. List any military service, period of service, rank achieved, and type of training. Ooh,
Lord.
here's a good one. How would you rate your current fitness level? Sedentary, somewhat active, active, or highly active?
Student classes run for 12 hours each week at $164 a month. It's just run out of some dude's like house.
They have a they have a
Did you go to the
blog.
like contact us page or whatever?
Oh, he's got an article on here posted December 16th, 2018. Survive a dog attack. Training to fight attack dogs is an important part of combat martial arts. Additionally,
What?
loose, wild, or diseased dogs may be a threat anywhere in the world. This post is on how to fight dogs and how we train to survive dog attacks.
Maybe I'll just do that and walk around the neighborhood. Start hunting dogs. I gotta train. Neither of us had seen this film, so you're gonna get two fresh ratings on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Zach, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Really shocked that I haven't seen this movie before. I'm sort of a fan of these, and I don't even know if I had heard of it. The fighting scenes are really, really well done. Um, there's a bit of confusion just in like you're not sure, or maybe you don't even need to worry about it if they're magical or not, or if they're just really well trained. But don't watch the English dub. I heard that that was really bad. The original version's perfectly fine. Great love story. Really, two love stories mixed in throughout, and it's just a fun movie. I will give it an 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. Not quite for me. Uh, like I don't love like kung fu action movies that much. I do think this one is well done. Like Zach said, there's heart. There's a little intrigue and mystery in it. Like they kind of phone in like, oh, like this is the person. Like she's the trainee, but at the same time, like you're kind of guessing for a few minutes. The wire work's amazing. The choreography with the action is crazy. There's like these couple of big fight scenes, like the dojo one and the one where they're fighting. What is her name? Jade Fox.
Jade Fox, yeah.
There's these big fight scenes, and I mean, I know The Matrix was inspired by these kinds of movies.
The dude who did the choreography for The Matrix also did it for this
Okay, because
movie.
I was gonna say the fight scene in the dojo here reminds me a lot of the like fight scene in The Matrix where they're in that dojo in the towards the
Yeah.
beginning. I would say check this out because I had never seen it, and honestly, I haven't watched too many Chinese films. If I'm being honest, typically I've seen more like Korean and Japanese.
Or Taiwanese films.
Yeah, I meant the language, but Mandarin. I haven't seen many Mandarin films, if any, to be honest. Actually, I saw a couple early Jackie Chan films. Police Story I saw not too long ago, but like typically I feel like I see because like Squid Game I think is Korean. It's a big one. Old Boy. And then in
Yep.
like Japan, a lot of the ones that come over here, Drive My Car was just big, but like you get the Grudge, um, Ring, like you get more of the like horror stuff from Japan, but at least here in America we don't get too many of those films. So I would say check it out. It obviously is a damn good film. It won 4 Oscars and was nominated for like 10 or something. Give it a watch. Let us know what you think at Cocktails and Classics Pod on Instagram. Hope you enjoy this episode. Check out Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on HBO Max. Hit up the Drizzly and Cash links below. Make yourself a Crouching Tiger shooter. Share us with your friends and family. And as always, watch responsibly.